Okay. Right, let's get this shit out of the way. Quick. Get it done. Fucking get it. Okay, so I've got one thing that I've written down and then one thing. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head a bit, but anyway. So if we assume that morality, good and evil, are human constructs, not to say one society's derived them through thought, but they evolved over time to fit into the natural evolution occurring in the physical world. I don't like being hit on the head, therefore maybe other people won't like it when I hit them on the head. That's just, never mind, that's just an example of how some morals might evolve. Anyway, if we make this assumption, we come to a fairly crude system for laying the framework for the guidelines to replace religion in facilitating the best moral pathway. The basis for any action should have the root intention of causing the most increase in emotional well-being for the most conscious individuals for the longest time, while simultaneously causing the least negative for as little time as possible to the fewest conscious beings. A bad act has a net negative impact to the universe across the whole of time, and a good the opposite. Okay, that was really badly worded, that last bit, but basically. Good. So if good and evil or good and bad exist on a spectrum, then on the furthest end of the furthest good way on the spectrum, oh Jesus Christ, I can't speak. The best thing would be something that affects as many people, as many conscious beings as possible, not necessarily just humans, in a positive way for the longest amount of time. And the worst thing would be something that affects all of the same number of people, conscious beings, in the opposite way, so as badly as possible, so it's just miserable for them for a really long time. And then in the middle you could have, and then obviously these different characteristics have to get filled up and stuff, so you could have something that is really good for everyone, doesn't last very long, so that wouldn't be as good as something that was quite good but lasted forever. And then you could have something that's quite bad for a moment but doesn't last very long, and maybe it works out best in the long run or something, so they all kind of balance out. Right. And also, I don't like how people say you can't have morality without religion, because so they basically work on the assumption that if you have a divine creator telling you what's right and what's wrong, well, that works, then everything works out fine, but then everything you say after that goes back to the root of whatever the divine creator said was correct. And what I'm saying is, without religion, you only need to make a similar assumption, or well, the same number of assumptions, and one that's less extraordinary, one that doesn't rely on a supernatural being, which obviously doesn't exist. But anyway, so without religion, you have to then make one assumption to base your morals on, because without any assumption in the first place, it's true that there is no morality, but you make an assumption with a religion anyway, so it's no worse. Let's see. And also, conflicting religions make conflicting instructions in their doctrine. So what you're supposed to assume, you have to make an extra assumption that your one is the only one that's right as well. The claim we have to make without religion then is basically one that we pretty much agree on anyway, because that's its purpose. Is that basically the root of it all is good is better than bad, and obviously what I described as good and bad earlier are what I'm talking about here, and then you make smaller assumptions off of that. So you make the assumption that if something's good for one person, it isn't necessarily good for it all, so you have to try and balance it out so that it's the best for everyone, even if that means, so the best possible thing for everyone, every conscious being in the universe, might not be the best for one person, because it's possible to fit them in. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it, to be honest. There is a perfect path out there, and what religion might be good for in terms of having a doctrine, not necessarily not a doctrine, I don't like that, but having just some kind of guidelines because there will obviously be some, no matter which path you take to get you closest to the good end of the spectrum, there are going to be some ideas that are present through in every single pathway, and one of those is probably, well, some of them probably do already exist in religion, like love thy neighbour is probably a good one, and stuff like that. So yeah, you get the idea.